Welcome to this Bulldog football postgame report. I'm Rob Bentley, the voice of the Bulldogs, alongside Sandy Golston. An exciting game here tonight as Ferris State wins it 47-45 over Saginaw Valley State here in overtime. A heart-stopper for the Bulldog fans and staff here tonight.
It was definitely a heart-stopper, really, from start to finish. It was not a game that the Pro Football Hall of Fame is going to be calling, looking for the tape of, but at the same time, we won, and we're 3-0 overall, 1-0 in the GLIAC. That's the most important thing, is to find a way to get a win, and it wasn't always pretty, but we found a way.
Obviously, Saginaw Valley State battled to the end here tonight. It seemed like every time the Bulldogs had an opportunity, the Cardinals were able to find their way back into the contest, made some big plays down the stretch to keep this game alive.
Yeah, you got to give the Cardinals a lot of credit. They were able to make some offensive plays, and again, we put them in position to be able to get those opportunities, to make those plays, to stay in the game. But at the same time, they had to take advantage at times, and they did. And they made some clutch plays, some clutch throws down the stretch to stay in this game, to keep this game competitive. And it took us getting a stop at the very end on a 2-point conversion to finally end the threat. But yeah, it was a stressful game, but it was a game played with a lot of heart by both teams, by the players on both teams, by the coaching staffs of both teams, and it was a hard-fought rivalry game, as you would expect these types of games to go.
Bulldogs playing tonight without Jared Bernhardt. They lost a couple guys to injury as the course of the game went on, and certainly some adversity they had to battle through here tonight in terms of turnovers, penalties, and things that they have an opportunity to clean up in the weeks ahead.
Yeah, that's the tough thing. I mean, you have to play through the things that you can't really control, and injuries are sometimes things that you can't control. And then we had to also play through the things that we could control a little bit more, such as turnovers and miscues that really hurt us as well. So we faced a ton of adversity, as you mentioned, and we had to overcome it, really, right from the very beginning. We lost a player early in the game. We had some injury issues that cropped up from time to time, and we also had injury issues carrying over from last week's game. So it was a lot to overcome, and Coach Anise was sitting right here where we were standing in the post-game press conference, and you could see the emotion that he was experiencing, and you could totally understand it from a coach as competitive as he is, that he's going to definitely get on these guys. The staff is going to get on these guys. If I know that Bulldog coaching staff, if they get any sleep tonight, Saturday night, it'll be minimal, and they'll be right back. They're probably looking at film right now.
Always a great game between the Bulldogs and Saginaw Valley State, a game that seems like it goes to the wire every once in a while. And obviously you look back to the Snow Bowl in 1995. We talked about Jake Visser getting the big goal line stand in 2006, Jason Vanderlaan, and the Bulldogs falling in overtime. Might have been the last overtime game the Bulldogs played until here tonight at Saginaw Valley back in 2013.
Now that you mentioned it, that game, and it's interesting that we had Jason on here at halftime, and he was talking. He didn't talk about that game. That was probably a game that he didn't really want to talk about, and we don't even really want to talk about it because that was a tough game, but it probably was the last one. And overtime games are just inherently stressful. And, we got to overtime. We weren't able to get the stop at the end of regulation. We got the early touchdown. We went for two. Coach Anise, the gambler, he rolls the dice. He wins, comes up big, and he puts the pressure on Saginaw Valley. So Saginaw Valley emotionally is thinking, we got to not only go down here and score a touchdown, we also got to convert a 2-point conversion. So essentially, we got to score 2 touchdowns just to pull even with the Bulldogs and send it to double overtime. Bulldogs, well, Saginaw Valley got half of that. They got the initial touchdown, but the Bulldogs able to stop the 2-point conversion.
On a positive note, the Bulldogs get the win. They're now 3-0, and obviously another big game against Davenport next week for homecoming. Yeah,
when you get to the end of the season, if the season goes the way we hope, the only thing that we'll remember about this game mostly is that we got the win. We'll maybe remember that wasn't exactly a pretty win, but we got the win, and there's a lot for the coaches to look to work on as we get into practice this week and we start to look ahead to Davenport. Coach Sparky McEwen, he's going to have his guys come in. One thing about Davenport, we talked about it on the air in the post-game show, Davenport plays hard. They're a team that's well coached, and they're going to play hard. So we're going to definitely have to be ready to go against Davenport.
Kickoff next Saturday, 3 p.m. right here at Top Taggart Field. Don't forget, you can follow all the action online at FerrisStateBulldogs.com. This has been the Week 3 postgame report.